It's officially 5 o'clock. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing my March TBR. Before we get into anything bookish, however, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is one book on your March TBR. Are you reading anything feminist for Women's History Month / Women's Empowerment Day? Let's talk about it. This is my second round of trying to find a TBR game for me. I started this last month with Paige at the PM Reader's TBR jar, and I'll put a link to that video right over here in the cards. Go check it out. This time round, however, I'm going to be trying out Rachel at Let Me in the Library's D20 game. So this is pretty simple. She rolls 6 D20s, and then based on what she rolls is a prompt from these 20 prompts right here. However, she also rolls a single D4, and whatever number she gets on the D4, for one of the D20 prompts, she can move the number she got on the D4 up or down on the TBR list, but just for one of them. That sounds really confusing. It'll make more sense once I actually show you how to do it. On top of that, I am also going to be participating in the Game of Tomes Readathon this month. I'll put a link to the announcement videos at Dasha's channel over here. This is a continuation from the origin story, which I believe took place back in November for a week. This time around, the actual story is going to be taking place all month for March, so I have 5, 6 prompts, something around there that I need to hit as well. Plus, I will be partaking in 2 book clubs, so that is a lot of things to go through. Hopefully, I can kind of double count some of these between like my book clubs and then the readathon on top of my rolls. So let's go ahead and do the first roll. So unlike Rachel, I don't have one of those fancy little die mats that keeps all the rolls within one little spot. However, this is textured, so hopefully this will help it from rolling everywhere. First roll. Well, that didn't work, but we got 11. All right, so first roll was an 11, not too bad, about middle of the road. That one is actually to do A to Z generator. So I have a letter wheel right here for you guys where you can see I ended up getting a K. Well, I wasn't really thinking of anything going with K for my original ideas. I ended up going with Kingsman by Mark Miller. This is a graphic novel story in which our young guy Eggsy is picked up to become a part of this secret society / spy group. Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of a better description than that. That was terrible. If you've seen the Kingsman movie, this is the basis for it. This will also be fulfilling my soft goal of trying to get a comic every month. So, bam, that's a comic. Next roll. Lucky number, not quite 20, but 19. All right, 19, so really close to a nat 20, awesome. This one is to do a friend's recommendation, which works out perfectly because one of the book clubs I'm participating in is the one I do with my 2 best friends. This month is Allie's pick, and she went with The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. Now, being completely honest, I knew nothing about this apart from seeing the cover, and I really thought it was just another YA fantasy, though I think it's actually adult, and I have to say, since reading the synopsis, I'm so intrigued. I actually think I might go buy this book. On top of that, I don't want to try and give you guys a cut down synopsis, so I'm just going to read the one off of Goodreads. In her forest-veiled pagan village, Eviki, let's hope I pronounced that right, is the only woman without power, making her an outcast clearly abandoned by the gods. The villagers blame her corrupted bloodline. Her father was a Yuhuli man, one of the much-loathed servants of the fanatical king. When soldiers arrive from the Holy Order of Woodsmen to claim a pagan girl for the king's blood sacrifice, Eviki is betrayed by her fellow villagers and surrendered. But when monsters attack the woodsmen and their captive en route, slaughtering everyone but Eviki and the cold, one-eyed captain, they have no choice but to rely on each other. I am already intrigued. I think obviously from the name this is going to be some kind of like a Little Red Riding Hood retelling maybe. I also do believe it is based on Hebrew folklore, which I'm all over. I love having mythology mixed into my stories, and then we know fairy tale retellings, especially when you make them dark and creepy. Fave. That's why I'm gonna go buy this book. Okay, next roll. After that, 17. Clearly, I need to use these die in D&D more because holy crap, these are rolling well.
Watch, I said that, and next one's gonna be a 1.
Okay, so 17 is actually a game within this game, and that's going to be for the Goodreads Chooses My TBR inspired by Sasha over at the Redhead Reader. I'll put a link to her over here. This one is to go on Goodreads and then use a random number generator to pick a book from there. I actually specifically was looking at my own TBR shelf that I have. That way I'm kind of trying to knock out the books I currently own. I'm not looking through the 400 plus books on my random TBR. That way, you know, have a little bit more structure, maybe, or it's just all in my head. Out of 51 books on my TBR, I ended up getting 44, which, lucky for me, is a pick that works for one of my prompts for the Game of Tomes Readathon. Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. This story is following Maverick, who was the father of our main character Star in The Hate U Give. I adored that book, so I've been really wanting to get around to this one, particularly because the family elements of The Hate U Give were some of my absolute favorite parts of that book. Of course, I've been, you know, procrastinating on actually picking this up. In terms of an actual plot, I believe this is following Maverick after his ex-girlfriend has had his first son at 7. He's still a teenager. He is actually dealing drugs and trying to get through high school, so he is now having to juggle all of these different aspects of his life. I am betting this is probably gonna deal with some heavy topics. It's probably gonna be pretty hard-hitting, but I just know that Angie Thomas's writing is gonna be super addicting. The characters are going to be totally wonderful, and I'm gonna eat this up very quickly. So I'm finally picking it up. I'm so glad that I finally have an excuse to do this. Next roll.
Roll number 4.
Oh,
We got a 20!
Nat 20. My rolls are doing amazing. This is beautiful. I love it. So for 20, it is an anticipated read, which of course I have to go with Anxious People by Frederick Bachman because this is the last book on my 5-star expectation video that I haven't read yet. Even though this was on my anticipated 5 stars, I haven't actually read a book from Frederick Bachman, but I've heard amazing things, and I know this one is following a group of people who were held hostage by a bank robber in a apartment viewing, and then we're following 2 detectives who are trying to figure out who the bank robber is. There's like multiple different perspectives. I've heard this is funny. I've heard this is deep. Some people cry, some people hate it. I don't know where I'm gonna fall, but everything I've heard about Frederick Bachman makes me think this is going to be a great book for me. So I'm really hoping this will be a 5 stars. Next roll.
Roll number 5. Ooh. And we got a 5.
Of course, after I get a nat 20, I get the lowest number thus far. So I rolled a 5, which is to play another mini game, Spin the Bottle, but I'm going to be completely honest. If I use the D4 number that I rolled,
this one's a little harder to shake one-handed. We got a 2.
Which is a 2, I can get to 7, which is to read a nonfiction book, and that works perfectly since I want to try and have 1 nonfiction book in my TBR every month. So on that note, I'm going to be picking Bad Blood by John Carrier. I'm so sorry, I'm pronouncing this really badly. But I've heard lots of good things about this from Dasha at Mythic Pages. I think I linked her earlier, so yeah. This is a nonfiction book following, I think her name was Elizabeth Holmes, correct, who created this startup that I believe had to do with DNA testing. It was estimated to be worth like millions of dollars, only for it to be found out that the entire company was a fraud and the testing did not work. This is a pretty short read. My dad actually just recently read this and he said it was really interesting. I also think it's becoming a movie on Hulu with Amanda Seyfried, so I want to read this and then watch that. I'm really intrigued. Final roll.
And a 15.
So I got a 15, which is a pet pick. I actually had a pet pick last month when I did Paige's TBR jar, but I already used the D4, so I can't move. I'm gonna just have to deal with seeing my adorable dog in a sweater again.
Okay, y'all, so first off, we have an ebook over here. I'm gonna be completely honest, I'm kind of cheating. I don't know if it's gonna be Difficult Women by Roxane Gay. It could be Kingsman volume 2, or maybe something else from my library. I'm not really sure. In the middle, we have The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is a possibility for a big book. Honestly, if she doesn't pick this one, I probably won't add another book to my TBR because I already have a lot this month planned and I want to allow some mood reading, okay? Finally, we have 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. This is a Greek retelling book that I picked up from the library and I'm just really wanting to read it. So honestly, out of these three, I'm kind of really hoping for 1,000 Ships the most, but I don't know. We'll see which one she picks. Let me lay out the treats and then go get her. Hey, you see the treats? See the treats? Okay, ready? Go. Oh, no. Faith. Faith, do you see the treats? Are you just gonna hop up on the bed? Come here, come here, come here. Do you see the treats? Treats? You want a treat? I'll move away. Here you go. You can get the treat. Get the treat. Go get it. Tater tot. Do you see the treats? Go get the treats. Go get the treats. Really? You were not a great actress, baby. Get a treat. Okay, well, you know what? You kept walking over to my iPad, so I'll just go with the iPad and I'll give you a treat. Okay.
All right, so Faith was not particularly helpful with that, but she continuously walked by my iPad, so I'm gonna go with some kind of an ebook. I think I'm gonna go The Difficult Women route by Roxane Gay, since that was on my 10 books I want to read in 2022 list. Roxane Gay is an author I've really enjoyed in the past, but I've only read her nonfiction stuff. I don't know why I'm holding my iPad up like it has the cover on it. Difficult Women is a short story collection by the author, however, and I haven't had much experience with short story collections, but I do know I really enjoy Roxane Gay's writing, so I'm hoping that bodes well here. I think just the underlying connection between all of these stories is that it is following women throughout difficult times in their lives or impassioned times in their lives. I have no idea, but I'm very excited to pick this one up. It's not too long. It'll be an easy ebook to get through this month. Okay, so now that we got all the roles out of the way, let's do the book clubs. So as I mentioned, I have the book club I do with my two best friends, and we're going to be reading The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. Apart from that, I'm also planning to partake in the Hot Girl Book Club, which is hosted by Noelle 7 Pages. This month's pick is A Strange Beasts of China by Yang Gi. I think this is almost like a bestiary of cryptozoology in Chinese mythology, I'm pretty sure, and then I know it also just has a fantastical mystery underlying it. I'm not really sure, but it sounds very interesting, and I'm really excited to pick this one up. The cover is also absolutely beautiful. As I mentioned, I'm also planning to participate in the Game of Tomes readathon. I am going to be on House Baratheon. I don't know anything about Game of Thrones, so don't come for me if you disagree with that house. Sorry, that's just the path I took with the story. Since I did partake in the origin story in November, that means that I get to continue a series. So Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas will work for that one. Next up is Visit the Great Sept of Baelor. This is to read a book about, set in, or inspired by a different time period. That is going to be 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. Since Faith didn't pick this one, I'm gonna insert it somewhere, okay? Because I'm very intrigued. This is a retelling of the Trojan War, but from the perspective of the different women throughout the Greek myths. Obviously, I've loved Circe in the past, which also is a Greek feminist retelling. Very excited to pick this one up. I've heard nothing but good things. I think it has like a 4.5 average rating on Goodreads. Hopefully this is gonna be amazing. Also, deckled edges. They're beautiful. Next up is Kingsguard, and this is to read a book featuring a bodyguard or some kind of a security detail. Well, Kingsman by Mark Miller. He's like a spy slash security guard for the country, sort of thing. After that is To Hunt with King Robert, and I think this one is to have a book with a protagonist over the age of 30. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if this will count, but from reading the synopsis, it sounds like majority of the main characters are all adults, and the two police officers we're following are technically our protagonists, so I assume they're gonna be at least over 30, maybe. And then finally is to collect secrets for Varies. This one is to read a book about secrets, and given the fact that literally secrets is the first word in the subtitle of Bad Blood, I feel like this is a safe go. Now, like I said, I don't technically have a big book this month. The Wolf and the Woodsman is at like 438, so it's really close to the 450 mark. I'm just gonna go with that. Don't judge me. I know that's my own rule, and I'm only 3 months into the year and already breaking it. Okay guys, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all of my socials linked in the description down below. I also come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!